What's up, guys? We're here tonight to talk about our experience over the weekend of Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend 2020.
Yay!
Woo!
Exciting!
We're a couple weeks out. We've had time to reflect.
Yep,
and
about 2 weeks now.
Marinate in our experience. And we wanted to share with you our thoughts on everything that we were able to do. I do want to say, to make sure if you want to see more footage from the weekend, go check out our vlogs that we took while we were there so you can kind of see everything we did.
Yep, we have 4 different videos, 4 days from Marathon Weekend of different fun vlogs doing all the stuff we're going to talk about here. And then also there's like a retrospective from my marathon as well.
Yes, which is very good. I very much enjoyed listening to that.
Yeah. Now we're going to actually review the weekend, talk about what we did, what we thought about all the different things in the places.
Yep. All right. So where are we going to start?
Yep. So we're going to start with Thursday. This is the day of the 5K, but we did not run the 5K. This was the day we got there. We got there, like 1 or 2-ish, give or take?
Yeah, it was around lunchtime, so probably around 1 or so.
Yep. First thing we did was we got checked into Wilderness Lodge. We had a 1-bedroom there. We'll talk more about the resort and our thoughts staying there for a Run Disney weekend at the end. But after that, we had lunch, and then we went right to the Expo then.
Yep. We went to the Expo from Wilderness Lodge. We just took the bus that they provide at all the resorts. Easy peasy. Never any problems with that.
Yeah. Bus was there and ready, too. I think we hopped on and waited a few minutes, and it left.
Yep. And got to the Expo, no problem. It was a beautiful day. The whole weekend.
Very pretty.
Other than being a little, unfortunately, hot during the half and the full, as far as just hanging out time, weather was perfect. So we got to the Expo. The Walt Disney World Weekend Expo is set up a little bit differently than Wine and Dine, which is the last one we went to. They utilize 3 of the buildings instead of just 2 because it's a bigger weekend.
Yes.
So this time, instead of picking up your bibs in the arena, you go to the back, and I believe that's the
HP building, I believe.
Oh, the HP building. You pick up your bibs and stuff there. We always print our waivers at the Expo. We have never had a problem printing our waivers there.
I don't think I've ever gone where the line hasn't been one person to get to a computer. They've always had plenty. Most of the time we just walk up.
Right. So I would say of the list of things to stress about on a race weekend, don't even worry about that. I hear a lot of people warning you to print your bibs in advance, and I never understand why, except maybe if you
go opening day
at opening time.
Even then I've done that and it wasn't an issue.
Right, and I feel like going opening day at opening time, the reason to do that is to get merch.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go get your bib to go buy the merch. Just go to the merch line and get your bib later. Anyway, we print our bibs there. Never had a problem. Or print our waivers there. Picked up our bibs, got our shirts.
Yep. Packet pickup is always super easy. You just go, show them your ID, you sign your number. Never any problems, very quick.
I've never had to wait in lines there either. They have it set up big. I'm assuming maybe it's the first day there might be lines type thing again, but I've always walked right up. I've never had to wait behind someone.
It's spread out enough that even if there is a lot of people in there may only be 1 or 2 of the number ranges that has lines. But it's about 500 people per line spread out basically throughout the weekend.
Right.
For each different event, so It's never a problem.
And this whole thing with the packet pickup is mostly manned by volunteers, and I just always love seeing the volunteers there. They're usually super happy.
Yeah.
Usually the ones at the Expo tend to be older.
They do, yeah.
And I just love that they're out there to volunteer, and they're just so nice. So make sure you say thank you when you pick up your bibs and stuff. They really appreciate it. After that, we went back over to the kind of main expo hall that has all the vendors and such. That's where they also had the shirt pickup in the very back, so you have to walk through all the vendors, of course. Shirts are cute designs, I think. This is the 10K. I love this shirt. I think it's super cute. Unfortunately, Disney is still using some kind of
off-brand Disney material.
Yes, and it pales in comparison to the Champion branded ones.
Just bring back the Champion shirts.
Those are so soft and comfortable to wear, and these honestly, like, I will never work out in one of these shirts.
Yeah, I wear the Champion ones all the time. I never wear these.
Yes. So we wore them the days after our races, and honestly, I don't know how much else. I mean, this is your only marathon one, so you're gonna wear this one more until you get another.
I'll wear them out. I just won't wear them like for exercise.
And I love the marathon design too. Like Mickey has his little like marathon, like old fashioned marathon wreath on his head. And of course this year it's featuring Minnie, which was a big change. Minnie used to be on the 10K. They put Minnie with the marathon now, and Oswald on the 10K, which is literally the reason I signed up for this 10K was for Oswald. So shirts and
not only that, it's like already pooling.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are the same shirts that they used for Wine and Dine, and my one for Wine and Dine was way worse as far as falling apart.
This is like my favorite part of the shirt.
Yes,
it has all the parks.
The 10K has Epcot on it. It's whatever parks that the race run through. So Disney, we wish you would bring back the strong shirt game, whatever budget cut you made there. Make it somewhere else and bring back the good shirts.
Or just don't make them. Because kind of talking about budget cuts, I definitely feel like the last few weekends, the Expo is slowly scaling back and back. There's a lot more like bigger, huge names. Like Geico's booth was like obnoxiously huge, and they've been there before. Like they're typically a sponsor. I would like some more like running gear. There's some companies that have either shrunk down their situation or haven't been there at all now.
Yeah, the Geico thing's random. I mean, they do like a giveaway, like they have a wheel and stuff, but there's nothing there that you can like buy. So it's like purely they paid for the like advertising to be there, I guess, but it's not really a running related thing. So
it's not that they're there, it's that they take up like 4 vendors worth of area.
Yeah. I mean, that's just Geico paid for it.
But I do think like the running vendors are scaling back and back.
I will say I think this one was better than Wine and Dine.
I agree.
I think they brought in a few more people. They seem to be lacking in some of the stuff that like we wanted specifically. Like I know you were interested more in looking for some like actual running like apparel, like shorts and stuff. I always like seeing the races that they have there, and I feel like they didn't have as many like other, race weekends that were advertising.
Yeah, there was 1 or 2, but not some of the regular ones that we tend to see there.
Yeah, and I didn't really need anything, so I didn't look around too much once we did an initial lap. They used to have, like, a lot more people giving out, like, free samples. Like, the first couple of years that I went, Cliff Bar was always there handing out, like, free mini Cliff Bars and things like that. And
they don't sponsor the event anymore because they used to give out the gels, which is how I first found them.
We can reminisce.
Yeah. But having a shoe sponsor, like New Balance used to do the Run Disney shoes, and they would have their own like event with really cool like Disney running-esque merch, and that was always really neat. I enjoyed that section a lot. I wish they would bring it back. I always thought that was a good addition.
Yeah, I agree. So after we did that initial expo, then on our way out, we stopped at the official Run Disney merch.
Yep, so this is in the arena where the official merch typically is. I thought for being Marathon Weekend, this seemed a little scaled back as well. It was bigger than Wine and Dine, but Wine and Dine is a smaller weekend overall.
But this weekend's Wine and Dine in particular was like way less.
Well, we did also see at this one though, compared to Wine and Dine, there is a lot more focus on like general Run Disney merchandise, lots of like 2020 Run Disney merchandise, which is cool. I enjoy seeing that.
And I think this is the race where they like premiere like this year's general Run Disney merch, and I will say this year's is really good. I in the past haven't really liked the generic merch, and I actually liked a lot of it this year.
Yeah, there's some cute stuff there for sure. And then we did pick up a couple merchandise items, as we typically do.
Yeah. First off is this hat.
Yep, first off.
I love this hat.
It's the marathon hat.
And they have a very similar one that was just the weekend hat. And I almost got it, but it was so close to this one, I felt like it'd be silly if
get both.
2 similar hats. But it's a really, really pretty color. It has that same really awesome design on it. Big fan of the hat. Usually the hats I always love. Like hats are always really good.
Hats tend to be go-to merch for us.
We also got the magnets. We are missing one because I took one to work already and
Yes.
didn't think about us doing this video.
Insert picture over us. But it's the Oswald one that we're missing.
And then this is the basic Marathon Weekend one here, which they recently, well, it's been a few years now, but I love that they started doing like a whole weekend type of logo on a magnet. I think is really awesome. So we usually pick that one up now almost every weekend. And then this is the
I did it for the marathon. So kind of that same Mickey running. He's got the, well, not running. He's holding his medal.
He's done running.
He's done running.
He's run
Yeah,
his
he did it.
miles.
I did it.
We love the magnets. They're $9.99, cheap souvenir. They don't take up if you don't have a huge living space, they don't take up a lot of space. I will say I don't recommend putting them on your cars. My very first half marathon, I got a magnet put on my car and it got lost. Very sad about that.
I'm sorry.
So put them on your fridge. I put them up at my work cubicle. Just keep in mind.
We got some behind us up there.
All over.
Then we got some pins.
Yes.
Always have to get the pins. You can go ahead.
Yeah, so we have a pretty good collection of pins. We don't buy all of them every weekend as much as sometimes we want to because they now make a ton. Yeah,
there's usually like 3 pins for each race, 2 pins for the weekend. They have like a My First Run Disney race pin now, pass holder pin.
So if you buy all the pins that they offer, it would definitely be a small fortune. We try to get at least one for whatever races we're running, and then a lot of times we'll get the weekend pin too because it can be cute. This is the 10K. It has a cute little Oswald that runs. It's just adorable.
Yep. And then I have 2 of the marathon pins. So one is the replica medal, and we'll show you the medal in a bit, but it looks pretty much like that. It's got the Mickey and it spins around with the Minnie on the other side.
And I say this every time about the metal replica pins, but like they use the actual ribbon on the ribbon now,
on it is super cute.
It's so cute because it's so little and adorable.
And then we also have the marathon pin, and it's got Mickey, and he's got a slider element, so we kind of zigzags along the path, and it's a cool little pin.
Yes, I love the pins this year. All of them were really, really cute, so it was a struggle, but we limited it to 3.
We did pretty good.
And I love them all. I think that's everything we bought.
Yeah, that was our haul. Overall, though, I thought it was a pretty good expo. Everything was pretty smooth. Lines weren't too long. Again, we were there the second day, but
yeah. And something to keep in mind for the expo, too, they always have some good picture opportunities. They have banners for all the races that are set up that you can, like with the medals that you can take pictures in front of. They have things on the sidewalk that are super cute. Inside the official Disney merch is where you'll find characters. I believe it was Mickey when we went in.
Yes, Mickey, and we also saw Goofy. Right. Very briefly.
And the lines weren't long either when we went at all.
No, they were reasonable.
Yeah, if I was a picture-taking person, I definitely would have jumped in that line. It's a good opportunity. And if you run one of the earlier races, you could like come back with your medal and get like a medal pick with a character there too if you didn't.
Yeah, it'd be very easy to go back and do that.
And they also have like food and drink and stuff set up all around. So it's a fun place. You could spend, 20 minutes there just getting the stuff you need, or you could spend a couple hours if it's the type of thing you're into.
Yeah, we typically spend usually a little over an hour.
Yeah, depending on like what time we go and how much we need, like if we need some more supplies and stuff.
Yep.
Well, okay, so after the expo,
we took the bus to Beach Club.
That's
and we hung out there because we had a dinner reservation at
Via Napoli.
Yep.
Which is actually a really nice place to go and grab dinner. We shared a pizza, and it wasn't, for a table service restaurant, it wasn't expensive. It was like $30.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. And that had included an appetizer as well.
Yeah. And we had some leftovers that we took back with us.
Yeah. And it was decent pizza, too.
Yeah. We met up with our friend Steve, who had run the 5K that morning. He was doing Dopey.
Yeah.
So it was fun to hear his experience. And then after that, then our room was ready. And we headed back to go to bed.
So we go to bed, wake up Friday, and it's the morning of the 10K. We both ran the 10K. We ran it together, and I filmed during that, so there's some cool video like on the course in our day 2 vlog.
So we got up, we took the bus. We didn't have any problems at all. No waits or anything. Race was fun. We were in Corral C.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't think of anything like that went wrong other than I ran really hard and was really tired at the end.
No, yeah, it was good. We didn't have any, like, issues with the corrals, as she mentioned. There was probably about 5 or 6 waves before us, maybe a couple more.
Yeah.
Because they do break them up into mini waves. I thought the course was good. They did make some changes to the course this time, which I really liked. This course was very spectator friendly, opposed to some of the other 10K courses. Mostly because at about mile 3, you actually kind of cut back into the parking lot. So anyone who watched you start was already basically right by where you were going to run by. So they could watch you start, see you at the halfway, and they were already at the finish. So there were 3 points along this race that they would be able to see you. And I thought that was really cool. That was definitely a good choice. I like the course change.
Yeah, that was really cool. If you've run Disney before, the area you run is basically the route that the buses
go in and out.
To go in and out, after the race, not before, but just after. So that was actually really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed this course. I hope they keep it. It was still pretty close to the standard Epcot 10K course. You go out the front entrance of Epcot, then you swing back Epcot Center Drive, and then back through by the parking lot. Then you go in the back, in between Mexico and Norway there, and you cut left. You go around World Showcase, then you go back out around Boardwalk, around Beach Club, Yacht Club, and then you are back in, and you go kind of out towards World Showcase again, and you cut back in. Is it right before or right after Mexico this time? One of them cuts in at Mexico, the other one cuts in further out. Overall, pretty good course. Again, pretty standard 10K course, but you get a lot of park time, and I like the boardwalk.
I love the boardwalk. Yeah, that's always fun. Plus, there's usually a good amount of people out there cheering you and stuff. It's just a really pretty part of Disney to run through.
Yep. We didn't stop for any character pictures, but they had the Mad Hatter, Vacation Donald, Pilot Goofy, Abu, Pinocchio.
99% sure her name is Clarice and not Chippette.
I can never remember her name, but if I write Chippette, she'll know what I'm talking about.
I'm pretty sure it's Clarice.
It's the Lady Chippendale character.
Feel free to correct me in the comments, but it's not Chippette.
Yep. And after the race, they had Oswald, Dopey, Minnie, and Mickey. There might have been another one in there, like Goofy, but I am not 100% sure.
Yeah, we didn't really hang around for the characters. I don't like taking pictures of the characters when I'm not running, so I don't usually stop, but I like seeing them. We finished the 10K probably around 7:30. Got our medals. This is the 10K medal.
Very cool medal.
Yes, I do love this medal. It's probably one of my favorites. Went back to the resort.
We both
got
worked.
Some breakfast.
Yeah, we got breakfast. Roaring Fork.
Yes, Roaring Fork was great. We had a really conveniently located room to there as well. So especially with mobile order, you could do it from our room and then walk over
down,
and
pick it up. Yeah.
It was really convenient. I spent most of Friday working. Got lunch again at Geyser Point.
Yeah, which we love. One of our favorite places to eat on property. We had dinner at Roaring Fork again.
Wow.
Because we didn't know. We couldn't figure out if we wanted to go somewhere or what. So we were just like, whatever. We'll go
I think
here.
we were pretty tired because we really didn't lay down or anything. I know by about 3 o'clock I was still trying to work and I was struggling to stay awake. So I think Friday we just really chillaxed, which was good.
Yeah, it was good.
We had a beautiful room. We kind of wanted to spend time in it, and we did.
That brings us to Saturday. Neither of us ran Saturday. It was the day of the half marathon, but I did get up and go to spectate the half marathon. The spectating buses started at
6:30 because it started at 5, and so there would have been a break. Yes,
5:30. Buses started at 6:30, which actually had me a little worried that I might have missed some of my people finish that I was going for. So if you have faster runners that you want to spectate, you probably want to consider getting up and going from the start of the race.
Yeah.
It was fine. I made it there in plenty of time. There was not too many people on the bus. We didn't have any problem getting over to Epcot where the race started and finished. And spectating was fine. One of my big complaints for Wine and Dine was there was no area to spectate the finish. Didn't have the problem with this. There was a really good long area that you could go to spectate, which was really awesome. Lots more bleachers this time. I was a big fan of that. Kind of all we did race-wise. I went and spectated the finish, and then we did a split stay, so I had gotten back, and we moved from Wilderness Lodge to Bay Lake Towers.
Yep. Moving over to Bay Lake was super easy. And after that, we went and we did a little meetup with some other runners.
Met up with some friends over at Jack Lindsay's.
Mm-hmm.
It was like DCL podcast people and running people. It was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah.
Drank lots of water.
Yes, I drank lots of other things because I was done running, but it was super fun. I enjoy like hearing about other people's race experiences and stuff, and I don't always like get to do that during the weekend, so it'd be fun to make a point of doing more meetups maybe.
Yeah, it was fun.
People.
I had a good time.
That was probably my favorite part of the weekend, I think.
Then we went back to the resort because our room wasn't ready at check-in, so we went back, we got to check out the room a little bit, and then we headed over to the Contemporary and took the boat over to Fort Wilderness because we were eating at Trails End for dinner, which is one of our favorites.
Yes. I don't like eating there before one of my races because it's a buffet and I don't like eating a huge meal before a race. But since I was done running and you were getting ready to run and you do like to eat at a buffet before a race, it worked out very well.
I like a big meal. I like to have the options too.
Yeah.
You can get a very like diverse spread of food.
Whereas I feel like very restricted because there's only certain things I like to eat before a race. So I was happy to not be running and get to enjoy everything.
But yeah, Trails End was wonderful, as
Highly
always.
recommend it.
One of the usual go-tos for a race weekend for us,
yeah,
honestly.
It's a wonderful place.
And then we headed back to Bay Lake Towers and we headed off to bed. One thing I was kind of worried about was that the fireworks would wake me up. We didn't have a like theme park view, but we could see the theme park from our room. It was kind of off to the right.
Did they wake you up?
I woke up one time I heard a boom and I fell right back asleep. So not a huge issue.
I was still awake by the time they went off. So for reference, our dinner reservation was at like 5. We were back at our resort by 6:30 and the fireworks were at 8. I was still awake when they went off, still trying to fall asleep. He had been in bed trying to, wind down and stuff for a while. So I think it was really nice that they were at 8 and not later.
Not at 9.
Or 10, which they have been sometimes. So even if they did wake you up or they kept you from falling asleep for a little bit, you're still getting a decent, number of hours of sleep.
It was good, but that brings us into Sunday, Marathon Day. It was my first marathon. Very exciting. To get to Epcot for this race weekend from Bay Lake Tower, you have to take the monorail from Contemporary. Super easy. Took the bridge across to Contemporary. You go through bag check at Contemporary, which was awesome because there was no line.
And for reference, so as a spectator, I had a bag as well. I went through bag check at Contemporary with him. And for the rest of the day, no matter where I went, I never had to go through another bag check. So
she was always within a security area.
So we'll go into more of like where I went in a little bit. Yeah, that was really nice. Plus, if you're at all like in tune with Run Disney, like this past weekend, you may have heard about like the traffic fiasco. We didn't have to worry about it at all because we took a monorail and that was really, really nice. Yeah,
monorail was great. Like she said, there was a ton of traffic getting into the race. We went right over it. Yep. And then it lets you off at the front of Epcot, and walking to like the race staging area, there's a regular bathroom. Yep. Super nice. You can stop there and use a real toilet.
Yeah, so for reference, obviously the monorail lets you off at the regular monorail stop for Epcot, which is right at the front, and there's a bathroom right there by a little guest relations area.
Yep.
Super convenient. They had cast members there or volunteers like telling people that there was a restroom there, which was nice. And I mean, it's definitely good to know. But also, as you walked along that path too, there were a lot of porta potties there that had absolutely no lines and no one going in them.
Yeah, so this is right by where the finish area is, so there's no one over there because no one's finishing. And those bathrooms are like kind of mostly for spectators because the runners never like really come out that way. You are coming to the race and you see a lot of lines for the bathroom. take the 5-minute walk up to there, and there's not going to be anyone there.
Yeah, so definitely a good thing to remember. So when you're coming in from that direction, it drops you off again after bag check. Another thing that I discovered that I hadn't realized before, and I assume they do it every weekend, and I just don't pay attention at this point, is that they have the merchandise tent there, and it's actually already open.
We got there, and I pretty much went right back to the corrals. It was a pretty long walk to the corrals. It hasn't changed from other marathon weekends or other princesses. Did feel particularly longer than other times. I don't know if it is or what was going on, but it seemed longer. I'm pretty sure it just, like, when you go up to a round, you know, you used to have to walk back to some of the further corrals. The, like, further corrals were kind of back in front of you.
Yeah.
So I think it just pushed everything front, because they used to do the staggered.
Yeah.
Like, some on the left, some on the right. But because the course cut that way, they were all on the right this year.
Gotcha.
So I think it was just, like, they were pushed up a little further.
Yeah. That's going to be a cruel reality check for me the next time I do a January Era Princess, because it's been almost, like, 2.5 years since I've done one.
I ran the marathon. The course was really cool. I really enjoyed it. You are in Epcot, basically, like, right after mile 1, right about mile 2, which is the quickest I think you get into a park other than, like, some of the 5Ks for any race. And you get to go and do a pretty good loop through Epcot, and then you go back out around and you pass the start, which is kind of cool because you can, like, see everyone, all the other corrals starting if you're further up. So that was kind of fun to get to run by that. And then you run up World Drive, and you go through the Magic Kingdom parking lot. Pretty standard, just, like, course filler. But there's always characters there. I think there was Mater and Lightning and a couple others, I believe.
Yeah.
But I wasn't stopping. Anyways, you run then up through Magic, and at this point you're already like 10 miles into the race, which is really cool.
For reference, Magic Kingdom Main Street area was around mile 10.5, and they had the tracker set up to go every 5 miles and then the half. So you crossed at mile 5, you crossed at mile 10. So as soon as I got the 10-mile notification, I knew you were almost to me, which was really convenient.
Very cool, yeah. So you run through Magic. It's the same, like, section of Magic that you run through for any race that does Magic Kingdom. You go up, down Main Street, and then you hang right and go through Tomorrowland, and then back through Fantasyland, and you come down through the castle. You can get your castle pick up there, and you go down through Frontierland, and you go out the back by Splash Mountain. And you go and you run, like, the back service road all the way around to the Grand Floridian and Polynesian area and the golf course. From there, you hang a right and you take a service road that goes basically from the Magic Kingdom to Animal Kingdom. This was kind of where the race started to get long and hot. You hit 13 right before this, so you hit 13 when you're running back by the Magic Kingdom parking lot, and at this point the sun was up. Even in the morning it was in the 70s and like 90% humidity, so at this point it was even worse. You run for like 4 or 5 miles all the way back to Animal Kingdom, and you cut in, you do a pretty quick section of Animal Kingdom, you go back in by Africa, and then you hang left and you run all the way down through to Asia. You go by Expedition Everest, so if the park is open, you can ride Expedition Everest, and you go down around through Dino Land, and you cut out Dino Land, and then you actually do something kind of new where you turn back around and you go back out that service road. Then you cut a right and you go up the road that, like, Coronado Springs is on, and I believe it's also the road, like, people who go to Cast Connections and whatnot take. But you go up this road. This was, like, the worst mile because it's, like, uphill and in the sun. After that, you go and you hang a right and you go to Blizzard Beach. The thing that stinks about that is you pretty much do a full loop around their parking lot between entering and exiting it. Not a huge parking lot, nothing like doing the Animal Kingdom parking lot, but it was hot and in the sun. And then you get to do Blizzard Beach, which was cool and new and different, but it's very tight. It's like a 3-foot wide path, probably a little longer, probably like 6 feet. Still a pretty small path for a pretty high capacity race. And then at certain points, you're making like very sharp turns, like 130, 140 degree turns. And those weren't fun because you're almost like questioning if I'm going the right way, and everything was blocked off and they had cast members or volunteers directing you. Mm-hmm. But I didn't like that very much. Just like sharp turns in races aren't fun.
Yeah.
Then you run back out, You run by Coronado, and you run up the road, and you go up through Hollywood. The rest of the course is pretty familiar then. You go down through Hollywood, down Sunset Boulevard, and you cut a quick left before the main street now, and then you go out kind of the front of the park. You go down, you take the boardwalk path, and you go around the boardwalk, and then around World Showcase, and then you go out through the finish under the new Guardians ride, and you're at the finish then.
Yay!
Yeah, so course was overall positive. Like I said, definitely better than running the course that has Osceola and the like track loops that you used to do. Definitely much more interesting than that. I don't have all the characters from the race, but you had one of the country bears. I don't remember which one. You had Football Goofy, Olaf, the pink hippo.
From Fantasia.
Yes. And then after the race, you had Minnie, Mickey, Goofy, Dopey, and there was one other there who I forget. It might have been Donald.
Probably Donald, I would imagine. But
that was the marathon. Overall, pretty positive. Weather was probably the biggest like downfall, but you can't really like judge it off of that. But it was cool. I enjoyed it, and I would definitely run it again. We'll run it again.
So some of the things from my perspective as a spectator, this was my first time really spectating the marathon. My dad ran it back when I was like really little, back when the half and the full were on the same day. This time I got up at 2 in the morning and went with him to the start. I would definitely suggest, as long as it's the same course and transportation is the same, getting up and going with your runner at the beginning, either that or getting up and going right to like your first spectating point.
Mm-hmm.
The monorail was a huge help. So some of the things that I could see that the runners really couldn't see is truly the amount of cars that were on the road. This race started 30 minutes earlier than any of the races ever have before.
Yes, well, it was supposed to start 30 minutes earlier because of how much traffic and delays they had getting in. The race didn't start until like almost 5:20.
We saw some of the cars when we took the monorail into Epcot, got off, got him out to his corral. I picked up the pin we wanted from the merch tent, and then I pretty much just walked back over to the monorail to get on to go over to Magic Kingdom. Still had plenty of time, like more than enough time to get there. No worries on that end. Magic Kingdom portion of the race was about 5 miles later than it used to be as well, and 5 miles later than it is during the normal half courses, which I've had experience with, so plenty of time. Something to note if you're a spectator, the monorails are obviously running to drop off runners at Epcot, and they're running the resort loop so that people can get on them, but they won't drop you off at Magic Kingdom until 5:30. So usually what happens is the monorail may stop there. Spectating was fun. I just went from Epcot to Magic and then back to Epcot. You could also have gone and spectated outside of the TTC, outside of some of the resorts if you were staying there.
Yeah, there was a lot of good spectator points. There were people in Animal and in Hollywood when I went by, so those were pretty cool and fun.
Yeah. One strategy I love talking to other people who are spectating when I do it, and one strategy that one family did, he was going really fast, and one thing that would be difficult, especially with a really speedy runner, is to get to all the spectating points in one day.
Mm-hmm.
So what they did was they had like a team and they divided up the spectating spots, and then as soon as he passed their spot, that group like went to the finish, and then they all met up at the finish together to cheer him on. So that's a really good idea if you have a big group. Instead of all trying to be together, maybe split up, and that way your runner gets support at different parts of the course.
Overall, again, thought it was a good race.
And they did have to shorten the course, not for him, but some of the later runners, and it probably for the benefit of everyone who was still out there, because it was a hot day.
Yep, that's kind of the races. The only other thing I wanted to talk about was the resorts we stayed at, which we already hinted on. So we spent the first half at Wilderness Lodge. We loved this resort. I thought it was great for a race weekend as well. We had a 1-bedroom in Copper Creek. Beautiful room.
Yes. And having the extra space and stuff for the race weekend was really nice. Having a table to, like, do work at was really nice.
Yeah. Well, and just having, like, you have the whole kitchen area, the whole extra table, and, of course, you have whole extra bed, too, and all of that. But just having that area to like be able to lay all your stuff out the night before and stage it and not have it like in the way of you trying to get ready for bed was very nice.
Yep. They also have this is particularly good for race weekends. They also, the 1-bedroom and up rooms have a washer dryer in them.
Yep.
So if you have smelly running clothes, it's really nice. And I think if you stay DVC, you get included laundry. Like you have to go to the laundry room if you have a studio. I could be wrong. We've never done that. But it was definitely appreciated that we had it.
It was very nice. And then we did the second half at Bay Lake Tower. Again, I thought it was very nice. Not as much room as having a 1-bedroom for sure, but I enjoyed the room. I would stay there again. I thought it was a very nice area. We had a very nice balcony view. And the benefit of taking the monorail to the race was amazing.
Yeah, I think I would trade the space that we had in Copper Creek for the transportation ease just for like half and full marathons that start out of Epcot. If they start out of Magic, it doesn't make much of a difference. So
no, basically Princess and Marathon Weekend, the monorail loop is where it's at.
Definitely worth it. And it was nice that you were close because like the day after the full, like you walked over to Magic, and I think it was nice that you were so close.
Yeah, it was like so convenient to get there that I wasn't like, oh, I'm so tired, I don't want to wait for a bus and then get there and then wait for a bus back. It was quick 5-minute walk. I got in the park, hung out for like an hour and a half, and then was back out and didn't do too much walking. Still felt pretty good.
Yeah, it was great. I think it was pretty perfect, like how everything worked out for us.
Yeah, I agree. It was awesome. We finished the marathon. I got this snazzy medal. I love it so much. It's very cool. One of my favorite medals. You have the Mickey on this side, and then it spins, and it's got like the same style of Minnie on that side. And it's just super cool. I like it. Yeah, it's an awesome medal. And then the other thing you get when you finish is a pair of ears, which is kind of cool. I don't have like any ears. I don't typically wear ears. But these are, like, special because they're from the marathon.
Yeah.
So I like them a lot. It's cool.
Yeah, they're really awesome. And then we hung out for a little bit after the full two. You finished just shortly behind, like, the winners. And so they hadn't done the award ceremony yet. So we got to kind of see part of that.
Yeah, we did see that.
Which was really cool. Yeah, I think it was a really, really good weekend.
I agree. Well, that's going to do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, all the things that YouTube makes you do. And thanks again. Bye.